Love is Blind is back, and so am I.
I made the wrong choice, and now I'm gonna propose to another woman.
Are you kidding me?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sydney's Safe Space. It is I, Sydney, here to give you a recap to the first half of season 4. Oof. This one is a doozy, y'all. This one is literally a doozy. So we're gonna get straight into it. I think this is the second best season so far, just because the drama is like really out of this world, and I like some of the couples, or I like people in the couples, kind of. I don't know about all that, but it is an enjoyable season. Not nearly as good as season 1, but not as horrid as all the others. So solid thus far. But let's get into the couples, because that's what you're really here for. First, we have Marshall and Jackie. This is the problem with season 2. We don't know Marshall and Jackie. We know nothing about them. They are inserted into the second episode as a solidified couple, but we don't get to see like the beginning stages. We don't get to see them get to know each other. And then not only are they inserted into episode 2, they're inserted into a love triangle. Somehow, Josh is also interested in Jackie, and Josh is telling Jackie behind Marshall's back that like if he doesn't pick her, that he's just gonna up and leave. And then Marshall is confronting him, and there's just so much going on in their dynamic from the moment that we're introduced to them that I don't even have a chance to like either of them. I think Marshall is really cool. He seems very grounded. Jackie, on the other hand, I think she seems kind of complex, and complex in a way that I don't understand. And I think that we needed the first episode to introduce us to them as a couple, and they didn't do that. And so I think that's what's throwing me off. There's a couple moments between Marshall and Jackie in Mexico that I was feeling a little bit iffy about. The first one was when Jackie was talking about her type and how Marshall is a little bit shorter and she's used to like the basketball players and the guys with the tattoos. And I was like, that's just weird. Like, why are you into that? I'm sorry, Jackie, you are a grown woman. Like, you should be looking for somebody who has something going for themselves. And like, first of all, Marshall is handsome. Okay. He's a very cute, attractive man. He clearly has it together. He's a marketing manager. Like, he's so kind to her. He reassures her, and she's talking about something. He's not my type. Well, make him your type. Make him your type. I don't care. Make him your type. Figure it out. And then when I went on her Instagram, or when I went on the post where, you know, they show like the people that are going to be on the show, it said that she'd never been in a relationship, and she's 27 years old. But then when she described her type, it makes sense. You were dating people who didn't want to date you. That's what was really going on. But anywho, she has this moment where she like starts sobbing about her family and talking about like all the pressure that her family brings to her. And again, I'm confused because I didn't know she had familial problems, but maybe they did show this, because I did skip through some parts a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I skim watch from time to time. I do skim watch. So maybe I missed it, but I just don't understand what's going on with her. And the crying was way too much. And the fact that Marshall put up with that, that's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man. Another moment where Jackie just sort of give me weird vibes was when Marshall was asking about intimacy and was like, okay, so do you want to wait until after we, you know, get married and everything? And she's like, no, like, you don't get a car without test driving it, right? And I get what she was doing. I kind of understand her reaction, but maybe Marshall wasn't comfortable with being intimate before getting married. Like, I kind of wish in that moment she had also been considerate about what his boundaries are as far as sex is concerned, because in the previews it seems like she ends up telling Marshall that he's not man enough because they're not having enough sex, or they're not having sex at all. So maybe he's not comfortable with it, and that's why he brought it up. But Jacqueline just seems like I feel like she's not very like socially aware, or she's not really aware of things, period. And that's why she acts the way she acts. She's also very shady. Like, she makes funny comments, like her comment about Irina when she said that Irina was a peasant, and then when she called Micah and Irina freaking frack, that was hilarious to me. I fell out. I'm not gonna lie, but she was very shady, especially how she kind of like how she was two-faced and talking to Micah, and then when she was talking to Chelsea, like I wasn't a fan of that. So definitely some red flags with Jacqueline. I think Marshall is great, and honestly, I don't think they're gonna make it because I think they're unequally yoked. I think that Marshall is ready for marriage, and I don't think that she is. Next, we have Zach and Irina. I want to go through this relationship quickly because they made me so uncomfortable and wasted my time. Okay, wasted my time. And yet again, this is another relationship that we don't get to see. We don't get to see it at all. The only reason why Zach ends up with Irina is because Irina played him like a fiddle. She played him like a fiddle, right? The way she was able to concoct drama out of the air, terrible the entire time. It made her seem like she was jealous. And then Zach realizes who the real villain is when they meet each other. And so they just wasted everybody's time. Literally just wasted everybody's time. This section of the video had terrible audio. I don't know what kind of voodoo Irina was doing, but pretty much all I was saying is that Irina is a horrid human being. The way she was laughing at Amber while Amber was crying after getting dumped, how she played with Bliss's birthday cake situation, the fact that she has a crush on Paul. What else did that girl do? She was out of control, y'all. She was out of control. I can't even remember everything that she did, but pretty much she's just not a good person. And everybody, all of the cast members, pretty much associate her with nonsensical behavior. So yeah. She came for followers. That's what she came for. She came for followers. And all I have to say about Irina is that the adult acne is karma. The adult acne is karma. You want to be nasty? You're going to be on Accutane till you die. She's gonna be on Accutane till she dies, y'all. But like, seriously though, like on a serious note, like she's just so nasty and mean. Like I truly cannot stand her. Like her and Micah, like they gave me literal aneurysms. Like I was annoyed the entire time. I was annoyed at them just because of like how high schoolish they were acting. Like, oh my gosh. The fact that Irina, like when Irina called herself a bombshell, like that was the first thing she said about herself. She was like, I'm a bombshell. I was like, no, you're not, girl. You're not. I was like, is the bombshell in the room with us right now? Is the bombshell in the room with us? No. Not at all. The bombshell is not in the room. So next we have Micah and Paul, another relationship that is doomed to fail because both Micah and Paul are not here for the right reasons, clearly. Also, I think Micah got her lips done. And the reason why I'm saying that is because her face doesn't match her lips. And I went on her Instagram because I was like really curious about this. And I scrolled all the way down to the bottom. And she did indeed have her lips done because the lips was looking like this. You know what I'm saying? It was looking like this before. But she also needs to get her face done because her face is like box shaped. You can't get your lips done and then have a face that like is not shaped right. Otherwise it looks funky. And that's why she looks like a cartoon character. And I feel like with Micah and Paul picked Micah because he was competing with Kwame and because he had that kind of awkward conversation with Amber. I think those are the two main reasons why he picked Micah, because there really wasn't that much of a connection there from what I saw. Like, I think Micah, the thing that she did that was really smart, and she played the game perfectly, right? Micah made sure that she had two options, right? And she made sure that the two options that she had, that out of those two options, that she was the number one for both. Because the entire time, whenever she discovered that the person she was talking to had someone else, right, she would go on the pods and make sure that either Kwame or Paul, she would make sure that they were feeling her the most, right? She would get that assurance from them. She would get that affirmation from them and then go on from there, right? And they also knew what was going on, so they were in a competition. So everything worked out for her perfectly. She was gonna get picked regardless, and she made sure of it. She was a woman with a plan. I don't like Micah, but I respect the grind. She was a woman with a plan, and she executed the plan to perfection. But the thing that's crazy and what proved to me that they're not really meant to be is the fact that when they were in Mexico, they were both flirting with different people. Micah is flirting with Kwame the entire time, trying to trigger him and cause chaos in his relationship. And Paul is flirting with Irina, talking about how he has to trying to keep his eyes up and how that's a struggle for him. Me personally, I'd want to look anywhere but Irina's face. But like, I get that for him, it would look bad if he was just staring at her boobs, but you know. But yeah, we know they're not making it. Doomed to fail. Next is Kwame and Chelsea. I'm really tired of African men with identity issues coming on these shows and just embarrassing themselves. Because I think the thing that's like really embarrassing is that I don't think they realize that they're embarrassing themselves. Like the way Kwame was talking, like I think he genuinely feels like what he's saying makes sense, and it doesn't. Like everything you're saying, go to therapy. Don't tell the Love Island or Love is Blind producers. Tell your therapist and have a conversation about this. Oh my gosh. He's talking about how he was going to call himself Alex so that they wouldn't know what he looks like. But the thing that I'm noticing is that it is typically the African men who have very prominent and distinct African features who have this problem on Love is Blind. Because generally it seems like the black men who just look like they're from America or are like I said, don't have those prominent features. They generally seem to be a little bit more well adjusted, or they don't have like this extreme trauma that they're carrying. And like, I'm not making fun of Kwame. I'm not, because I understand. But my thing is like, he's 33 years old. Like, you're grown. You need to figure out a way to adjust. Like, this is not okay. You need to figure out a way to adjust and I don't want to say get over it, but like, if it's making friends who are African, or, you know, like I said earlier, going to therapy, something like, find a way to heal from what you've been through. Because I'm sure he got bullied bad when he first moved to the US. I'm sure he did. But this idea that like your accomplishments will make you feel good about yourself is not true. Your identity cannot be in what you've accomplished. Your identity is in who you are, right? And being able to walk into a room and not feel like you have to prove to people that you belong in the room. You get what I'm saying? You get me? That's what Kwame needs. I hope he watches this, and I hope he gets some help. So anywho, the reason why Kwame wanted Micah so bad was because he was competing with Paul. And I think that the source of his competition with Paul had everything to do with him wanting to win over the white guy, right? I think Micah represents everything that he's ever sort of desired, because she's white. And I think that for once he wants to be picked over the white guy, and he didn't. And that's why A, he proposed on like the 4th day, and B, he was that wrecked when she turned him down. And that's also why C, when she made a joke about it, he got really upset. But the thing that's crazy, right, is that he has somebody who will give him the affirmation, right? He has Chelsea. But the difference between Micah and Chelsea is that he's not competing for Chelsea. The conversation he had with Micah in the pods that really baffled me was when he was talking about how Chelsea gives him all the affirmation that he needs. And then he asks for Micah to do the same. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense, Kwame. Just, you're getting the affirmation that you want. So just stick with Chelsea. But again, he wants to be picked over the white man. That'll never happen. Yeah, so I completely agree with Chelsea's frustrations with how he was behaving at the pool when he saw Micah. It was really inappropriate. It looked really bad. It was unacceptable. And the fact that after that conversation, he still hasn't received closure is ridiculous. They're not going to make it, because that is going to happen again, right? And even afterwards, the next night he was clearly overcompensating, and it was really awkward to watch because he knows what he's just trying to act like he's over it, but he's not over it. And that's like the frustrating part. And I think that cycle is going to continue, right? Where he's going to slip up and he's going to have a really intimate conversation with Micah, and then Chelsea's going to be like, what? Why are you doing this? And he's going to be like, oh, I was just trying to get additional closure. And then she's going to be like, okay, so the first conversation and this conversation weren't enough. Like, that whole closure thing with Micah, it's never going to be enough, because he's addicted. He's addicted to the affirmation from people who don't want to be around him. That's what it is. So they won't last. Yeah, it's done for them. That's what it is. It's done for. The last couple is Brett and Tiffany. They're my faves. They're my faves, and they're everyone's faves. They are definitely the only couple that has been on Love is Blind that is comparable to Lauren and Cameron. I think that the producers did a good job of actually developing this relationship, and we get to learn a lot about the challenges and struggles that each of them have had in their personal lives. And you can just tell that there's a sense of assurance and strength that their relationship has that none of the other ones do. They did have that weird moment where Tiffany fell asleep, which was hilarious. That would definitely be me in the pods. She fell asleep, and I guess Brett didn't know what's going on. He was kind of upset about it, but he seemed to get over it. I hope Brett isn't one of those people with like a short fuse. I don't think he is, from what I've seen, but everything has been like rainbows and sunshine for them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to what it's like when they meet each other's families, and they start like the process of, actually going through the wedding and getting married and all that. So far, first 5 episodes have been really, really good, really, really fun to watch. There's been a lot of drama. I'm kind of hoping that we get a little bit more romance. We get to see a little bit between the couples, but it is what it is. Anywho, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And please watch my podcast episodes. They're pretty interesting. Peace.